back to Country Conversations, your favorite country music podcast. My name is Joey, and as always, I'm joined by...
Hey man, it's Chris over here. What's going on tonight, Joey?
Man, just got in from the boys' t-ball game. It was a very interesting turn of events, but it was fun. What's up with you?
I bet, man. We've just been hanging out all evening, and I was out on the back deck listening to a little bit of what we're getting ready to cover tonight.
That's right. And folks, if you couldn't tell by the title, we're talking about Jason Aldean's latest project, the double album, Macon, Georgia.
That's right, man. Some of this has been out for a while, but the rest of it just came out, so it's the right time to cover this one.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it was really, and we'll talk about this. It was a very interesting release, I think, but we've talked about our Aldean fandom a little bit. I mean, we did that Night Train episode not too long ago, so we don't have to. You guys can go back and listen to that and hear how we feel about Aldean overall. You know, we're both fans, but I think we'll mainly stay focused on this new project tonight.
Well, we'll probably end up doing 3 or 4 Aldean episodes over the course of time because Aldean had some big moments that I know we both were there for. But
for
like
sure,
you said, this is for the quote unquote double album that just came out.
Yeah, it was such a strange release. I mean, it kind of followed suit with everything else that's coming out now. You know, drop a single, surprise, dropping a single tomorrow, drop a single. The album comes out. The first album came out.
Yeah, what was that? Macon, when did it come out?
Macon released, I mean, that was a while ago.
Yeah.
Was it last year, I think?
Yeah, I think it was October or November.
Yeah, November 12th, 2021 is when it dropped.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that came out in November. We're now in May, which Georgia dropped just a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
So, I mean, which I'm trying to find the official date of when Georgia dropped. It was, 2 weeks ago?
Yeah.
That's what I thought, 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, it's been out a couple of weeks. I will say, I mean, you know, we talk a lot about the double albums and stuff, but, you know, Aldean, I kind of like spacing it out a little bit as opposed to, you know, like the way Eric did it. Week after week like that. At least it gave you a little bit of time to listen to each of them. And each one of these albums has 5 live tracks on the end of it. So it's kind of like a live greatest hits, kind of a wrap up, because this is his 10th album. So I think it was, it's got a lot of the old classic stuff that people love about Aldean, and then each album's got 10 new tracks on it. Well, one of them's only got 9 if you don't include Heaven, the Bryan Adams cover.
Oh yeah, the cover. Yeah, I don't know, man. I think I can speak for a lot of fans when I just say that I hate like the single, and then you get the album, and you've already heard half the project before the album is even out.
Yeah. Oh no, for sure.
I get it. You know, I get the business mindset behind that and streaming and all that good stuff, but it's just like kills the surprise factor of the album. And I feel like with artists doing that, I'm already done with that project after it's only been out for like such a short amount of time because I don't feel like I'm getting the full listening experience of a new album. So like I listen to it for a couple months and then I'm moving on to something else. And I'm talking about albums by like my favorite artists like Eric Church, Heart and Soul. I felt like I heard 70% of that triple album before it was already out. And I'm like, okay, well, cool. We got a few new songs, but I've already been listening to this for like a year. At least it seemed like a year. It wasn't really, but you know what I mean?
Yeah, and I mean, we've talked about it a lot. We have our theories on why they do that, but it would be interesting to sit down and talk to, you know, a marketing guy at one of the labels or even a manager and find out, you know, exactly why that's the strategy they go with. I mean, there's some obvious reasons, but there's got to be some other stuff, you know, built into that. I mean, I guess it's just to give each individual song, you know, its own shining moment for a couple of weeks and try to get as many streams on that song as possible so that it doesn't kind of disappear in the shuffle. But like you said, you know, it's, you know, I don't want one song from an artist. I want a collection from an artist. But you know, I'm old, and you know, so I'm kind of set in my ways.
And I'm not super young
about that kind of stuff.
I'm 30, so I mean, you know,
new music traditionally has been for, you know, 15 to 25-year-olds. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
You know, Aldean and Luke Bryan were kind of the megastars for people of your age, and Tim and Kenny were kind of the megastars for people of my age. And,
right.
You know, every single project that those guys put out until now were released in the traditional way of put out a lead single, wait until that lead single gets super hot and close to the top of the radio chart, and then put the album out. And that was the way that music was released for 50 to 75 years. You know, was put out your best song, wait till it becomes a smash, and then put the album out. You know?
Yeah, we live in a world where things are so instant and instant gratification, and with the internet, news travels within seconds, and you can online shop within seconds. You click a button to buy something, you can click a button and listen to your favorite song, you can speak to your device, whether it be your phone or I'm not going to say it because I have one sitting here, but the Amazon device that you can talk to, and you can literally just have the music right there. So maybe it's just societal influence on releasing as well as the marketing aspect of it, because I mean, even if you look at artists' social media pages, you can see fans commenting like, drop that song, drop it, drop it, drop it, drop it, drop it. And I'm like, yeah, I get it. I love new music as much as the next guy or gal, but like, when there's a project coming, just like save some of that for the project, so that way once the album does drop, we're not like, oh well, we've been listening to this for 6 to 8 months already and it's old.
Yeah. And I mean, I don't know, this strategy works to get to get some attention, but
yeah, for sure,
it hasn't really worked to create superstars. You know what I mean? Like,
exactly.
Luke and Morgan, the obvious two superstars in country music right now. Their first projects, Luke released an EP, and then he released the full project, but he didn't. He wasn't dropping single after single after single. And with Morgan's first album, he had some stuff that he had put out before he got signed to the major label, and then he put out the first full-length album. Like, people are not going to become obsessed and love an artist based on 1 or 2 or 3 songs. Like, you gotta be like really invested in somebody before before they become one of your favorites.
Exactly, over one song.
Yeah.
But anyways, I'll reel it back in. That's
right.
We could do a whole episode on that. Maybe one day we'll get somebody to sit down and talk with us about that. Maybe someone in the industry.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, if any of you guys know anybody that would be willing to do that, shoot us a DM on Instagram at Country Convos. We would totally appreciate that. But so anyways, you already kind of talked about the live tracks. I liked it. It was a little different because it wasn't necessarily a live album, but it gave you the feel of a somewhat live album with the 10 live tracks in total.
Yeah.
And I'm an Aldean fan, I'm not going to lie. I've been listening to him since the beginning. That was, he, like you said, from my generation, him and Luke Bryan were like the superstars. So, I don't necessarily love his latest stuff as much as the old stuff, but I will always listen to it. And I like the live, and you've said this before, that the live albums are kind of like an ode to the long-term fan, like the loyal long-term fans that just love going and see him in the live shows and stuff. And
yeah,
I thought it was a cool touch. I liked it.
Yeah, I did too. It would have been cool to kind of do what Riley Green just did. Give one new song in the live format. Yeah. That would have been kind of cool.
Oh yeah, like an unreleased type song in live format.
Yeah, just like one unreleased live track. That would have been cool. But
yeah,
but overall, yeah, it was a good touch to add to the album.
Yeah, when I thought it was kind of cheesy when they first announced that they were doing the live tracks. I was like, I don't know how I feel about it, but it was cool. I think it worked.
Yeah, I agree.
But overall, how are you feeling about this album?
Well, I'll tell you what, my
you don't have to give me an official ranking yet. We'll do that at the end. But like, what are your thoughts? Like, do you think it's one you're going to go back to? Do you think it's kind of a one that you're only going to listen to so we can review it and then move on from it? Or
to be honest with you, probably the last 2 Aldean records I've liked. And he's had big songs off of it, but they're not stuff that when I go back to Aldean records, it's, Wide Open and My Kind of Party and New Boots, Old Dirt and Night Train, that era. So I think there's probably three songs on this record that I'll continue to go back to and that I'll add to playlists. And, it wouldn't surprise me if at least one of the 3 ends up being a single. But as a whole, I've listened to it a ton over the last couple of days, and my cousin where I work has kind of added most of the tracks to his everyday playlist, country playlist. So I've heard the songs a lot more over the last couple weeks, and I mean, it's classic Aldean for sure.
Right,
I mean,
right.
so I mean, it's not bad, and
Yeah.
but I don't know if I'm ever gonna, just put on these two records as a whole and jam out to them, 2 or 3 years down the line. What do you think, Joey?
I'm with you. I think because I've listened to it at work the last couple of days too, and I found it easy to listen to for the most. There's a couple skips in there. I'm not gonna lie. You probably know the obvious ones, but it absolutely was not my favorite Aldean project by any means. But I think I found it very easy to listen to while I was working, and when I'm working, I have to listen to something that I'm not like that's not distracted. It doesn't sound distracting to me. I don't know. I don't know if that makes sense, but like. It was very good, just like background music, if that makes sense. I don't know,
for sure.
And there's some really good songs on here that I'm going to talk about, and you're going to talk about your favorites too here in a minute. Like, don't get me wrong, but I don't think it's one 3 to 5 years from now even that I'll go back to and rock out to both albums,
Yeah.
But there are a few that I will definitely revisit, an Aldean fan that I'll keep in the back of my mind as, some of my favorites off this record. And kind of like what you said, I think his last like 2 or 3 albums, I felt the same way. Even with 9 and what was before 9? Rearview Town.
Yeah.
There's a couple off of each one that I'm like, okay. It's kind of like how I feel about Luke Bryan. I'm like, okay, it's a Luke Bryan album. I'm gonna listen to it. Okay, there's probably 2 pretty good songs in there, and the rest I'm like, or they're really bad.
Yeah, I mean, Luke Bryan's last record ended up having, 6 or 7 songs that I really liked. So I've actually gone back to it a couple times. And this is not me trashing on Aldean because I have loved Aldean for years, but Aldean makes the same record over and over and over. So
production-wise, vocally,
Themes,
every couple years there's a nice duet with a female artist.
Yeah,
which they
got
work.
His formula that works. Yeah,
it works. It sounds great, but he doesn't. Yeah. Well, he did kind of step out of the box with one of these tracks. Little auto tune, but a lot of auto tune. But I don't know, man. It works. He's not straying away from what he always does. He, like you said, he's found the formula that works, and his fans love it. It really works for the live show because it's that like country rock kind of feel. He's not just going to sit there plucking an acoustic guitar. He's rocking out, and there's some drum tracks on some of these and some snaps and some clap tracks and some, like I mentioned, some auto-tune. And I'm like, we could have probably stripped some of that down a little bit and it would have made a pretty good song. But I don't know. Overall, it's not bad. Like I said, I don't think I'll revisit the whole project as a whole often. But I'll listen to quite a few of these over again.
Yeah, I agree, man.
But yeah, man, I guess we can go ahead and jump into our ranking, man. And for those of you that may be new to the show, thank you so much for tuning in. We appreciate that. Basically what Chris and I do anytime we're reviewing an album or an EP or whatnot, we will rank our favorite songs. Depending on the size of the project or how we're feeling for that episode, we'll either rank our top 10 or top 5. For this one, we decided to do a top 5. So we'll start with 5 and then go all the way to 1. But I will kick it off, man. Number 5, I've got Trouble with the Heartbreak.
Oh, it's a good one. It's current
I like
single.
that one. Yeah, it's the current single. I think it's got a good vibe to it. He sounds good on it.
Yeah.
The production wasn't killer, but it wasn't bad, I didn't think. I really liked it overall.
Yeah, it's a good one.
What'd you have at number 5, my man?
Number 5, well, I had Heaven written down just because that's one of my all-time favorite songs. But I just wanted to mention that as kind of an honorable mention. Yeah, I remember the CMT Crossroads that he did with Bryan Adams, I don't know, 12, 14 years ago. I mean, long time ago. And they kind of did it together there. And then he's played it in concert over the years a little bit and stuff, and it's always been one of his favorite songs. So it was just cool to see him add it. I think it was an Amazon exclusive for a year or two.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. I meant to mention that a little bit ago when you brought up the Heaven cover. Yeah, it was on Amazon for a while.
Yeah, it's a good one. So I mean, it's kind of my honorable mention. But at number 5, I have This Bar Don't Work Anymore.
Oh, nice choice.
It's just
that's a good one though.
Yeah, a little bit slower, but it's still got some tempo, and it's just kind of classic Aldean.
Yeah, nice. Good choice. That one did not make my list. This next one, I don't even know why it made my list, man, but it's one and you're gonna make fun of me probably, but it's one that I've went back to over and over again since it released as a single, and I don't even know why. I think just like the production, I don't know. Call me crazy, but I've got Rock and Roll Cowboy at number 4.
Oh, wow.
I don't know why. It's nothing groundbreaking.
What do you think of that one?
It's nothing great. I don't know, man. I was listening to it at the gym one night after it first released, and I was like, this is like a good rock out kind of song. And yeah, I like it. Nothing special. I mean, it's not a special song by any means. The lyrically, sonically, production-wise, like it's your typical Aldean song of him not wanting to settle down and stop hitting the road and being a cowboy.
That's right, man.
But yeah, that's what I had it for.
Number 4, I have Midnight and Missing You.
Oh, man, you got some good ones.
I mean, I definitely feel like when it comes to the Aldean stuff now, he's either got the heartbreak stuff or the let's just get the crowd fired up and go crazy kind of stuff. And I definitely lean more towards the heartbreak stuff. You know what I mean? In recent memory, Ask Any Old Barstool and Drowns the Whiskey are probably my two favorite recent Aldean tracks.
Yeah.
And so I kind of just go back to stuff that is similar to those.
He's good with the heartbreak stuff, though.
He is.
I mean, that's classic Aldean for you.
Yeah, I agree, man.
Yeah, man. So number 3, this one I thought was a clever, really good song, and I kind of can relate to it a little bit. But I've got Your Mama at number 3.
Oh, tell me about that one. That's definitely not one that I have gone back to.
Yeah, it's kind of like a letter to his kid about, which I don't even know who wrote it, to be honest with you, but it's basically this guy telling his son how special the mama is, so the kid's mom, and how she's always there for him, and basically how she holds I'm like paraphrasing everything here, but how she holds the fort down for the family, and just the dad telling the son how important that is and how special the mom is. And I think that's relatable because to me, being a father to a little boy, I feel the same way. So
yeah, for
it's
sure.
one that I was really able to relate with, and anytime you can relate to a song, it's definitely special.
I'm going to have to go back to that one now. That's going to be on my list to listen to tomorrow.
Yeah, man, it's a good one.
It's a good one.
What'd you have at 3?
Number 3. So these 3 songs are definitely the ones that I'll go back to the most. And this particular song that I have at number 3 is not a groundbreaking song, but I love a big event. So number 3, I have the lead single with Carrie, If I Didn't Love You.
I knew
it's won about every award possible. They've played it on every award show. I think it was a 4 or 5 week number 1 song.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's a hype love song, kind of a breakup song, and you just got 2 of the biggest stars in country music doing what they do.
Yeah. Is that your ringtone now?
I know, but I should make it that.
If you guys want to catch that joke, go back to our last episode where we talked about Luke Combs' album. Chris called me out, but anyway, that's a good one though, man. That is a good song, a big hit. Did not make my list, but it is one of the biggest songs right now of this year. So.
Yeah,
but
it's what Aldean does, man. He knows how to find that that one song every couple of years that just reminds everybody how big of a star he is.
For sure, and it helps that Carrie was on it too, because I mean,
for sure,
vocally she always is crushing it, and then obviously she's a superstar with a huge fan base too. So,
yeah,
good collab there.
Joey, before we move on, I think it's probably safe to say that our top 2 are the same.
I think so, man. I think we've got them. Swapped though. Because we've talked about these 2 songs together. Not before we even knew we were going to do this episode this week. So I already knew we were probably going to have the same top 2, but I think we've got them reversed.
I think you're probably right. Yeah.
But at number 2, I've got Whiskey Me Away.
Oof. Killer, man.
So yeah, killer. Correct me if I'm wrong, but that is, both of these songs are Morgan co-writes.
They are, yeah.
Which is huge because not only does Morgan sing very well, he can write too, and he's written another hit for Aldean.
Which one?
It was
You Make It Easy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You Make It Easy. So I mean, and they've got a pretty good relationship. I mean, they were hanging out in Nashville. They've kind of been buddies for a bit now, so it's cool to see, Morgan being the hot thing right now, writing for Aldean. So
and
that's why I had number 2.
do a heartbreak song for sure.
Oh yeah, for sure, man. But yeah, that was my number 2.
Okay, then my number 2, you were correct, is the sad songs, which
Oh
is
man,
another Morgan co-write, and I mean it's a the top 2 songs are the 2 best songs on the record
for sure.
I'll go back to them, and I'm guessing they're going to pick one of these as a single. I don't think they'll do both of them.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll
They're very
see.
similar in like
Yeah, they're
the
really
story
similar,
and everything.
slower story. Yeah, so the sad songs, number 2, awesome song. So obviously, it's your number 1. Tell us why.
You're gonna be shocked if I surprise you here.
I don't. There's not much else that I think you would put up there with that.
Number 1, I've got "Ain't Cowboy Enough." No, I'm just kidding. No, I'm joking. Totally.
Oh man.
Yeah, I've got the sad songs at number 1.
Tell us about
And
that.
that is, man, I've said it on the show multiple times. I'm a sucker for the heartbreak, sad stuff, and I think it's perfect because he's basically just describing his woman as only seeing the positive side of him and the rock and roll side, not the sad. She ain't heard the sad songs yet, so she hasn't really got to know the real him, the sad him is kind of how I interpreted that.
Yeah.
And I think that is very clever. It was a very clever song, and I love it, man. I think that's definitely my favorite off the project because they released that before the album came out. And both of these actually were released pre-album drop, or however you want to say that.
Yeah, for
and
sure.
Both of them grabbed my attention. I'm like, okay, this is what Aldean does best right here. This is good Aldean. And yeah, those 2 are definitely the ones I'm gonna go back to the most. I think honestly, my top 5, I'll probably go back to those all the most. I mean, they're my top 5 for a reason, I guess, but. Yeah, those are definitely the 5 that stuck out to me. But those top 2 were, I'm like, okay, these are good. These are really good.
Yeah, for sure, man.
So yeah, that was my number 1. So I would assume everybody probably knows your number 1.
Yep, my number 1 was your number 2. I figured all week long that this is how it would end up. Number 1, I've got Whiskey Me Way. It's just, whew, man. I mean, it would have been interesting to hear Morgan do either one of these.
Yeah.
But Aldean kills both of them, and it's just it's what he does best, especially at this stage in his career, especially with songs this good. And they'll both, whichever one they decide to release as a single, will be a huge smash.
For sure.
It's Aldean's shows are so rocking that he needs those 2 or 3 moments in the show to kind of slow it down a little bit.
Yeah.
And, he's got The Truth, and he's got the 2 that we just mentioned, and now he's got these 2. And the fans will eat either one of these songs up.
Man, that's the truth. Haha, no pun intended. But
The Truth is my favorite Aldean song. I think it might be one of yours too.
Same.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. And there is there's only a couple moments in my live music history where you get that, just like that feeling when there's a song played live and you're like, man, this is it right here. And when Aldean plays The Truth, that's one of them.
Yeah.
Luke Combs, Even Though I'm Leaving.
Yep.
Garth Brooks, The Dance.
Yep.
Those are those songs that you hear live and it's like, it punches you right in the chest and you're like, oh man, this is good.
That's right, man.
But yeah, The Truth is amazing, and not to veer off too hard of our ranking here, because we're gonna rate the album too. But we did. My buddy, Corey, my buddy, we just secured tickets to go to Riverbend and see Aldean in August. So
that's awesome, man.
I don't even know how many times
it.
I've seen Aldean. I don't even know. I want to say 6. That'll be 6 or 7 probably. I don't even know. I can't even keep track.
Every chance you can get.
For sure, if he's close, I'm going. I've seen some really good openers with Aldean. I mean, this year it's John Morgan and Gabby Barrett.
Yeah.
And then last year I think it was also John Morgan and Lainey Wilson.
The year before that was Riley Green and Morgan Wallen.
Yeah.
And that's about as good as you can get right there.
And then he had Luke Combs opening a middle act for him a few years ago. So
great.
I mean, he's
That's
definitely
crazy.
chosen some really good openers. But the one year I didn't go which I mean, he comes to Cincinnati I feel like he's there every year.
Yeah.
I don't even remember a year that he didn't come. Him and Luke Bryan are usually always in Cincinnati, even though Luke's not going to be at Riverbend this year, though. We've talked about that a little bit, but he's doing the farm tour and he's stopping in Ohio, which he does every year, but
Yeah.
when I saw his tour announcement and there was no Cincinnati, Ohio, I was like, man, that's kind of strange because he comes here a lot. And sells it
just
out. I
make
mean,
you
sells a ton of tickets.
Want it the next time he comes, though. You know.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, because my
Yeah.
wife always likes to go see him and stuff, and he, looks goofy, but he puts on a decent live show. It's fun.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Keeps it entertaining. But
I've actually got tickets. What is it? June 9th, I think he's coming to Charleston.
Nice.
With what is it? Mitchell Tenpenny and Riley. So
oh
that should
man, yeah, Riley's alone is worth the ticket.
yeah, that'll be a good show.
I think we're going. Corey, my wife, and his woman, we're going to see Riley at a fair on a Sunday in August. I think.
Oh, that'll be cool.
Somewhere up about an hour or so north of us in Ohio. I'm not sure exactly where it's at, but
But Riley's awesome. Yeah.
Oh, Riley is so amazing live. If you guys haven't had a chance to go out and see Riley, and you do get the chance, definitely go do it because it's worth it. But anyway, to rank this project, Macon,
what do you
Georgia.
think overall?
Macon, Georgia. I'm gonna the whole double album as a whole because I know it was 2 separate albums with 2 separate release dates, but I'm gonna do it as a whole. Oh man, I've thought about this. I'm probably gonna go with like a 6 out of 10.
It's solid.
Yeah, 6 out of 10.
Yeah, it's solid.
Not like, oh my gosh, this is so bad, I hate it, but not, oh my gosh, this is so great. It's an 8 to 10 out of 10. I'm gonna give it a 6 out of 10.
Yeah, I mean, once you're 10 albums into your career, like, I mean, you've sung about everything, you've done everything, like, I mean, there's the biggest artists in the world. I mean, Garth and the Alabama's the biggest artists in the world. After 10 albums and 40, 50 singles, like it's hard to keep, it's hard to keep going,
Yeah.
and being original. I mean, there's
sure.
only one George Strait that did it for 40 years and still had some of his greatest songs ever near the end of his career. I would say I'm probably, right there with you, 5.5, 6, not terrible, not awful. It's got some really good songs. It's got a couple songs that are really not good.
You're right.
But he was, taking a chance, and it didn't. Some of them didn't work.
I think I worded it wrong earlier when I made a joke. Ain't Enough Cowboy. Yeah, I don't know when I was joking that was my number one. I think I read the song title incorrectly. I can't remember, but yeah, Ain't Enough Cowboy. I don't know what they were doing with that, but
let's just hope it's not a single.
Oh, Lord.
That's all we can hope. That's right, man.
But that's it. That's Macon, Georgia, guys. Shoot us a DM or comment on our post on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, wherever, and let us know your favorite songs off this record.
That's right,
And we definitely love hearing from you guys anytime you interact with our social media pages. We're super responsive, so if you guys ever have any topics or albums or artists that you want us to cover or talk about, definitely shoot us a message or a comment. We're happy to consider all that stuff, so definitely let us know and reach out.
Yep.
But yeah, well, definitely give us a follow too while you're at it if you guys wouldn't mind. We definitely appreciate that. That helps out a lot. And if you guys are enjoying the podcast, definitely go leave us a review on Apple Podcasts or even a little rating on Spotify. That helps out so much, and we totally appreciate that. But if you don't want to, totally get it. We just appreciate you guys tuning in and listening, and we love y'all, and thank you so much.
That's right.
But I think that's it, man. Did you have any other final thoughts? Any other Jason Aldean, Macon, Georgia comments?
No, I mean, just, when the next album comes out, we'll be ready for it too. And like you said, no matter what, we're going to always go see Aldean live.
That's it, man. That's it. We'll see how long he can keep going. 10 albums. That's huge. I mean, that's a feat. I remember he did an interview whenever 9 came out, and he said he never would have imagined being able to put out 9 records. And now he's put out 10. So, I mean, that's a huge feat. There's been big hits off of all of these projects, and I think that's just a testament to how Aldean has done over the course of his career and how he's perceived by the industry and fans alone. So
that's right.
But yeah, I think that's going to do it. Jason Aldean's 10th album. You guys, if you haven't listened to it, go check it out. Let us know what you think. And as always, until next time, keep it country and take care of each other.